Greetings to all of you and welcome to the Voice of One. You may be familiar with these four words. They appear in the Gospel according to Mark, right at the beginning. Behold, I send my messenger before your face, who shall prepare the way. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Actually, the voice of one crying is probably not an accurate translation of what was written in the original Greek. It says phone boontos, which in Greek means the voice of one shouting. I'm not going to shout. This is my first or introductory video to what I hope will become a place of respite and spiritual reflection for some of you, a place to share ideas for others, perhaps even a place where some of you will learn a thing or two from one another, perhaps even from me. Thanks to the internet, we're able to connect today in ways that we never thought were possible. When I was studying religion at Yale in the mid-1980s. I should confess, though, that I am not a cleric or a prelate or a religious of any sort. I'm merely a person like you who is struggling to understand where the world is going at a time when nothing seems to be making any sense anymore. I heard that the Pope spoke the other day about preparations for Christmas, and he reportedly said that Christmas is a charade when there is so much violence in the world. It seems that nobody wants the peace that comes along with what we normally conceive to be the Christmas season. You listen to Christmas carols. They're all about peace and happiness and joy, tranquility, love, generosity. Yet it seems that wherever we look, we're faced with just the opposite. We think of the victims of the terrorist attack that just occurred in the City of Lights, Paris, a city which I know and love and have known and loved for many, many years. We look at what has happened in Mali. We look at what's happening in Syria and Greece and Italy and Germany and the United States and India and Pakistan and we can go on all day and we can find examples of people abusing the gift that God has given them, that gift being life. And God has asked only one thing from us in return if we want to compress what we know from the Gospels into a single phrase. The most important commandment is, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. But even that can be compressed further into the whole of the law and the prophets is found in one phrase: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. What does this mean? What does this mean to you? What does this mean to me? What does this mean in real life? They're nice words. They sound like words that you might hear in a Christmas carol or in a poem, or perhaps see written on the inside of a greeting card. But what do they really mean? And that, I suppose, is the motivation for setting up this channel on YouTube. This channel here today, the one you're listening to right now, is the product of many months of reflection. I'm not reading from script, I'm just speaking, which is why I halt every once in a while, because I actually have to think of what I'm going to say. But it seems to me, in looking around, that at a time when we have more material comforts than we have ever had in all of our history as a people, we are unhappy. We feel unconnected. There is more loneliness and isolation and alienation than ever before in human history. Why? It should be the opposite. What happens when you get everything that you've been looking for? Well, you want more, so you get it. Isn't that what the Christmas season in reality is all about? There are new electronic gadgets, there are new video games, there are new fashions, there are new types of music. There's new everything, new and improved. But what is the end result of it? Nothing, except that you wait until that bores you, which normally happens very quickly, and then you look for something to replace it. And the quest goes on, and you never really find what it is that you're looking for. Know thyself. It was the wise advice of a philosopher. Know thyself. The problem is today none of us really have any idea of who we are. We've lost sight of what our purpose is in life. Now, you might ask somebody this question on the street and they'll say to you, well, my goal in life is to be happy. What does that really mean? And do you ever achieve it? You spend an entire lifetime looking for happiness, yet you never seem to get it. It's elusive. You say, well, it's my bad luck, or I've fallen in with the wrong crowd, or I was unlucky in a job, or I met the wrong person and got involved with them, or my children mistreated me, or my boss abused me, and no matter what, it's everybody's fault, it's the universe's fault, and you alone are the innocent one who has been victimized. But is this accurate? And is this a true reflection of what's going on? These are some of the things that we're going to look at in this channel. Now, you may say to yourself, who is this guy to be talking to me like this? Well, it's a fair question. You can call me a fellow seeker if you'd like, but the truth is that I am also seeking happiness. I am also searching out for meaning in a world that seems to make no sense anymore. And I'm struggling as much as anybody else is. And perhaps some of you out there will derive some benefit from sharing in my confusion and my doubts. Perhaps you can help to resolve some of them. Perhaps I can help to resolve some of yours. You have a comment section below this. I'd be happy to share ideas with you. Let me tell you a little bit about my background before I end this introductory video, so I can get the channel up and going, which was my vow before Thanksgiving this year. My name is David Augustus Ball. I live in New York. I'm a lawyer by profession. And that is something that I admit with great pride. I looked forward to becoming a lawyer. I was the first one in my family to go beyond high school, and I loved the study of law as a philosophy. What I discovered once I started working in law was that I hated the practice of law because I found that it had very little to do with justice and what was right or wrong, and it had much more to do with who could get something over on somebody else or who could find a loophole to fit through. So I no longer practice law to make a living. That was my choice. I decided to leave. And since then, I've been struggling to find my place in the world. And that's what brings me here today to all of you. The voice of one. My voice, sometimes I feel, is the only one out there shouting. Sometimes I even live under the illusion that nobody else in the world is afflicted in the same way that I am. And of course, any intelligent person knows that that's not true. All we have to do is walk outside of the little cocoons that we've built up around ourselves and take a look at what's going on around us, open our eyes to what we see, and it becomes very obvious that the world in general is a place that is full of misery, full of pain, full of suffering, full of hunger, full of alienation. Yet, it is a place that is filled with so much potential for joy and peace and happiness that it cries out to us, that we keep pursuing what seems to be unreachable. That's why I chose the title, The Voice of One, referring to this verse from the Gospel, the voice of one shouting in the wilderness. If things are so bad, why are we bothering to even go out and look for things to improve? If we're so convinced that everything is a wasted, futile effort, that all of our hopes and dreams are a charade, then why not just sit back and enjoy what we can while we can, knowing that we're all mortal? Yet something pushes us. Something deep inside keeps us going, propels us forward. That's what we're going to look at here. So I welcome all of you to the Voice of One. I encourage you to share any of your thoughts. The second video is going to be a reflection on Thanksgiving, which is going to be considerably shorter than this video. In the meantime, I wish all of you a day of peace, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and again, feel free to leave any comments that you wish below. Thank you for joining me.